So here we are with Trilian. When you first load up Trilian, you're presented with this interface and this sound. There are two possible places where you can start loading in sounds. These two types of sounds are very different, either multis or patches. Whenever you see a folder icon in Trilian, it means that you can access the browser. The browser in the top area is the multi-browser, and the entire top area concerns information about the multi. The main area of the window is the patch area, and the folder icon in the center opens up the patch browser. Of course, we'll be looking at patch editing in much greater detail later on, but for now, let's get started working with the multis. Each multi can contain up to 8 parts, each of which contains a patch. When I trigger this multi, I see activity only on part 1. Click on the multi button to go to the default mixer view. Here, we see that a single patch called the default patch is loaded in part 1 and receives on MIDI channel 1. Each of the other parts 2 through 8 are listed as empty. They contain no patches whatsoever. I'll click on the 1 button to return to a view of the main page for part 1. Next, click on the folder icon to open the multi-browser. The browser uses a system of categories and attributes to help us quickly find our sounds. In this case, the categories are acoustic or electric bass multis, and the default attributes are the type of performance, the model actually recorded, and the technique used to play the bass. For electric basses played with the finger technique, we have 5 models to choose from. If I select the Fender Jazz Bass model, the technique available is called key switching, which will allow me to move between multiple different articulations as I perform. Now check out this line and the ring below it with the yellow progress bars. These indicate the status of samples loading into the computer's RAM. Although Trilian uses something called disk buffering to load only a portion of the bass samples into the computer's memory at any one time, the portions that do load can still take up quite a large amount of memory. Now, whenever you see a plus sign, as we do in this area of the browser, we can access something called the zoom window. In this case, we've opened up the multi-zoom window. Zoom windows in Trilian allow us to access additional information about whatever page we're on. So in this case, we have additional detailed information about the multi that we've loaded and the instrument that was recorded. Now, the load is over. It's no longer doing it. So we're going to close out the browser with the close button, and we'll see that this multi contains patches loaded into each of its 8 parts. First, make a note that live mode is active, and we'll come back to that in our next video. When I play, part 1 is triggered, and we hear the clean Fender normal articulation. Now I'll press the 2 button in the multi area. The interface shows us the details for part 2, which is a glissando articulation. I know what you're saying. That doesn't sound any different than the first time. Checking out parts 2 through 8, we see that each part is loaded with a different patch, playing a different articulation of this bass. The mixer view shows that each of these parts are set to receive on a different MIDI channel. Although I can look at them, the alternate articulations won't be triggered unless I do something special. I could, for instance, simply send on different MIDI channels every time I wanted to trigger a different one of the articulations. That would be kind of a hassle, and there is, of course, a much more elegant solution. That solution is live mode.